Thunder! Hey, listen, I'm sorry to pop in on you on such short notice, but, you know, you got WWE Sleeping Grounds tomorrow night. What you got for me? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm the one and only DJ Storms! And tomorrow night, live on the WWE Network, a man who claims that the glory should be his will go up against the underdog champion for the World Crown of Smackdown Live, in which the match will be contested inside of a steel cage. Also, the one and only superhero of WWE will face off against the Destroyer, the assassin for the United States Championship, in what is sure to be a barn burner of a match. And finally, the Architect, the Kingslayer, the Beast Slayer, will go one-on-one with a man poised to take away his Universal Crown by selecting his own special guest referee. But before we select that special guest referee, before we lower that steel cage, before we march ahead towards WWE Stomping Grounds, it's time for the rundown! And if you notice the sound, come over here for a minute. If you notice the sound, take a look at this, people, right here. This right here is a personalized, authentic ship bell straight from India. That's right. You know, Thunder. Look, no one really cares about this shit pay-per-view anyway. People want to know the details of where you got this belt. How did you make it back right here from India within the same week? No? Okay. Anyway, I know many of you really don't have the time to discuss this. Alright, we got it, yeah, we got it. Anyway, I don't really have a lot of time here for you, but... Really? One time, man. Like I said, I don't really have a lot of... Thank you. Anyway, I think it's about time to get straight into the matches. So, let's start off this rundown by talking about Big E and Xavier Woods of the New Day versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Big E and Xavier Woods win. That's all I can really say. This match is just a filler match. It's merely placed on the show to put Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Big E, and Xavier Woods on the show. Most likely it'll be on the pre-show. Yeah, it'll be a decent match, but at the end of the day, does it mean anything? No. Big E and Xavier Woods win. Let's talk about the Cruiserweight Championship Triple Threat match, which I believe is the match that should kick off the show. WWE fucked up the match order back at Money in the Bank and put Tony Nese versus Arya Daivari in a spot in which the crowd was already dead after two horrendous matches with Joe Mysterio and The Miz and Shane inside that steel cage match. Cruiserweight Triple Threat match. Tony Nese is defending against Drew Gulak and Akira Tozawa. This is actually one of the few matches at Stomping Grounds, or Sleeping Grounds, whatever the hell you want to call it, that I'm actually looking forward to. Now, the way that they went about this was very, very good. I really enjoy Akira Tozawa. Obviously, Akira Tozawa is a great interim opponent for Tony Nese. Drew Gulak's got almost a new lease on life, this Wolverine-like character. He's got the long hair, the long, glorious, majestic brown beard, just the killer instinct, just inflicting pain on his opponents. If Drew Gulak is able to keep this up, he could very well surpass Oney Lorcan as the man to take the title off of Tony Nese. However, do I think it's going to happen here at Stomping Grounds? No. Tony Nese really hasn't had much of a reign with it. He just won it at WrestleMania. This is a good match, pretty much to put Tony Nese on the map as more of a credible champion. He had a good title defense against Arya Daivari. He had a great match against Buddy Murphy 2 days after WrestleMania. This is going to be no different. I see Tony Nese coming out victorious in this match, possibly moving on to Humberto Carrillo, maybe on 205 Live or Extreme Rules. He could move on to Mike Kanellis. Mike Kanellis recently got a win over the Brian Kendrick, and then he's facing he's actually facing Jack Gallagher coming this Tuesday on 205 Live. So if Mike Kanellis is able to walk out victorious there, then we could see Mike Kanellis in the hunt for a match against Tony Nese, possibly at Extreme Rules. But as far as SummerSlam goes, as of right now, Oney Lorcan versus Tony Nese is the money match for SummerSlam. But if Drew Gulak keeps this up, like I said, Drew Gulak could be next in line. You never know. But as far as Stomping Grounds goes, I think this is going to be a fantastic match. I am excited for it. I'm calling Tony Nese to retain his Cruiserweight Championship. Becky Lynch versus Lacey Evans for the Raw Women's Championship. I don't really know what I could say that I haven't already said about this match. I don't even know why this match is taking place, and I'm pretty sure everyone with a fucking brain is feeling the same way. Lacey Evans is in a position in which she is pretty much one match away from being completely dead, killed off, and no one's going to give a shit about her. They put her in a feud with Becky Lynch immediately after WrestleMania when the woman did nothing but catwalk and wave up and down the ramp for the entirety of WrestleMania season. And then she had a match at Money in the Bank, which was generic as fuck. The woman works way too slow of a pace in the ring. The woman is nothing special whatsoever. Does she have potential? Yes, she does. But at this rate, I don't even know if she's going to be able to recover from this. And Becky Lynch is pretty much the same exact way. Not as generic as Lacey Evans, but Becky Lynch and her entire appeal was killed off immediately after the Royal Rumble. Becky Lynch was the hottest superstar that they had at the Royal Rumble. And what happened? They over-convoluted the storyline with Ronda and Charlotte. They brought her to WrestleMania, and she won in the most lackluster way possible. And then she's put in a feud with Lacey Evans. Lacey Evans, in which no one has been given a reason to care about her. And now Lacey Evans is in a position where she could possibly become the Raw Women's Champion. At this rate, I would not even be surprised if WWE pulls the trigger and gives the Raw Women's title to Lacey Evans. I really wouldn't be surprised. If that happens with Lacey Evans, there is no return. There is no coming back for Lacey Evans. Lacey Evans will have go-away heat. Lacey Evans will be a complete waste of time. Lacey Evans will be booked into a position just like Braun Strowman, just like Baron Corbin, just like Roman, just like Nia, where she will become a part of that elite class that brings the quality of the show down. She's been overbooked and overplayed. I'm going with Becky Lynch, but, I really wouldn't be surprised. I really would not be surprised if WWE gave the title to Lacey Evans. I really wouldn't. Anyway, moving on. And, speaking of which, I wish I could move on, but, I got another women's match to talk about that pretty much has the same appeal as Becky versus Lacey. Pretty much has the same appeal. Bayley versus Alexa Bliss for the Smackdown Live Women's Championship. What can I say? Really, what can I say? It's a rematch from 2 years ago, and the three matches that they've had, Bayley and Alexa specifically, the three matches that they've had, 2 out of 3 of those matches have been jack shit. Now Alexa Bliss, who is a member of the Raw roster, is utilizing the wild card rule to get put into a match with Bayley at Stomping Grounds. And we all know, and I've stated this numerous times before, Bayley is merely the SmackDown Live Women's Champion to keep her happy. Bayley shouldn't lose that title until SummerSlam. Ember Moon is the woman to save for Bayley at SummerSlam, and that will be Ember Moon's big moment. But with someone like Alexa Bliss, do you really trust WWE to make the right decision? Do you really trust WWE to right the wrong that they did with Bayley and Alexa from 2 years ago? Do you have any faith in WWE? We are in a position where we could possibly be looking at Alexa Bliss as the SmackDown Live Women's Champion and Lacey Evans as the Raw Women's Champion. Do you realize how fucking sad that is? Do you realize how sad that is? I have no interest in this match whatsoever. And this match, I don't even feel as though this is going to be a good match. I really don't. This right here, this is a filler match that should go no more than 6 minutes with Bayley retaining. I'm going with Bayley, but like I said, I really wouldn't be surprised if Alexa Bliss walks out of Stomping Grounds or Sleeping Grounds as the SmackDown Live Women's Champion. But I'm going with Bayley. Hopefully. Let's talk about Ricochet versus Samoa Joe for the United States Championship. This is actually one of the matches that I'm very much looking forward to. I think this has the potential to be the match of the night. I think it will be the match of the night if given the proper amount of time. Now, originally I thought that they were going to go with The Miz in that Fatal 5-Way, mainly because of the fact that Ricochet versus Samoa Joe is a WrestleMania caliber match. WrestleMania already passed, but you got SummerSlam coming up in just about 8 weeks. A little less than 8 weeks, I believe. You got SummerSlam coming up, and I really thought they would have saved it for SummerSlam, but apparently they're really going forth with Ricochet versus Samoa Joe. Now, realistically, I would have no problem if Ricochet won the United States title here, because Samoa Joe would have still been in his first reign. Samoa Joe realistically should have never lost the United States Championship to Rey Mysterio at Money in the Bank to begin with. I don't even know why they gave the title to Mysterio. They gave it back to Joe because Rey Mysterio got injured. But at this rate, you know, what can we do about that now? Joe's in his second reign. He's only held the title for about 3 weeks. Why would you take the title off of Samoa Joe? It really wouldn't make any sense. I mean, if Ricochet is to win the United States Championship, it could possibly be at Extreme Rules, or they could possibly drag this out to SummerSlam. It depends if they make this feud interesting. This is the first match of the feud, and if you want to keep this match interesting, you're going to have to develop some real tension between Samoa Joe and Ricochet. But then again, this is the main roster. When do they do anything right? But I think if they give this match enough time, it's going to be a very good match. And I'm calling Samoa Joe to come out victorious in some way, shape, or form. Samoa Joe, he should not lose the United States Championship this early. Samoa Joe, he really needs a nice, strong reign with the United States title. His first reign wasn't really that special, mainly because of the fact that all they had him do was lose. And you had him lose in the most pathetic, lackluster way to Rey Mysterio. So, you know, at this rate, I don't even know. I don't even know. The past is the past as of right now, but I'm going with Samoa Joe to walk out victorious at Stomping Grounds. Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre. We've seen this match at WrestleMania. Bored me the fuck to tears. Saw this match on Monday Night Raw. Same shit that we saw at WrestleMania. What are they going to do differently that they've done the past 2 times? Absolutely nothing. But this match is a match to keep an eye out for one reason and one reason only. I reported on the Lightning Flash Update, Part 2, about 2 weeks ago, that there was a backstage confrontation with Vince McMahon and Roman Reigns, confirmed by only one source and one source only, the Sports Entertainer on YouTube. Again, I've never heard of him. That was the very first video that I've ever watched of his. It was a 5-minute clip. And he spoke about how Roman Reigns didn't even want to come to Saudi Arabia for Super Showdown, or Stupid Showdown. And apparently, Roman was not fond of the fact that Shane McMahon was going to go over. So, after Shane McMahon won, he went backstage and said to Vince, mumbled under his voice, "Oh, so that's why you brought me to Saudi Arabia. Awesome job." Vince replied in a hostile manner, "Get out of my sight and get back to me when you're over." I pitched this theory before, and this theory is to test out if this supposed report is true. I've said it before and I've said it again, and it's quite obvious. Vince McMahon is the most petty motherfucker on the face of this planet. He's so petty that when the Revival refused to sign the first contract that WWE offered them around WrestleMania season, they lost the Raw Tag Team titles to Ryder and Hawkins, and then they had them scoot on their asses in the ring to Usiha, pretty much embarrassing Scott Dawson and Dash Wilder. Vince McMahon will do anything and will book any segments out of pure pettiness. So if what happened at Super Showdown is indeed true, and Vince McMahon does have hostile feelings and he is petty towards Roman, because like I said, now it may sound out of the ordinary, but what with the amount of talent wanting to leave, with the ratings declining, with Jon Moxley showing up at AEW and on the Talk is Jericho podcast, you can imagine that Vince McMahon is infuriated beyond his imagination, and he is a ticking time bomb ready to explode on anyone, even his golden child, Roman Reigns. I'd say if Drew McIntyre comes out victorious at Stomping Grounds, then there's going to be no doubt in my mind that Vince McMahon booked Drew McIntyre to defeat Roman Reigns at Stomping Grounds out of pure pettiness. I'm actually going to go with a bold prediction here. I'm actually going to say, yes, this report was true. And I'm going to say Drew McIntyre comes out victorious out of pure petty booking by Vince McMahon. Now, Drew McIntyre should come out victorious regardless, but, if he does come out victorious, it does suck that it has to happen on these terms, because Vince McMahon should know well enough to push Drew McIntyre as a top heel on Monday Night Raw. But that is my bold prediction for that match. Let's talk about Heavy Machinery versus Daniel Bryan and Rowan. This is the third match that I'm looking forward to the most. I actually think that this match could very well be a great tag team match, and if they want to kick off the show with this tag team match, they damn sure can do so. Heavy Machinery, they are entertaining as can be. I mean, how can you not find Heavy Machinery entertaining? I mean, come on. Otis is 300 pounds doing Scotty 2 Hotties the Worm, calling it the Caterpillar, thrusting his hips. I mean, come on. How can you not laugh at that? Daniel Bryan, we all know he's fantastic. The partnership with Rowan has made Rowan into an even greater heel. Daniel Bryan is great in his own right, being one half of the Planet's tag team champions. I do not see Daniel Bryan and Eric Rowan losing the championships. I really don't. Daniel Bryan and Eric Rowan are in a situation where they are the top dogs in the SmackDown Live Tag Team division, even though there isn't really much of a SmackDown Live Tag Team division. Heavy Machinery, their time will come. I think Heavy Machinery's time will come, but I don't think it's their time just yet. Daniel Bryan and Rowan haven't really had much of a reign with it. They've only held the title since the beginning of May. They need to have a bit more of a reign with it. I would wait till SummerSlam to pull the trigger on Heavy Machinery. You could have an interim match with some other team. I don't really know what other team you want to put forth, but there has to be some other team that you can put forth against Daniel Bryan and Eric Rowan, so that way, you can get a bridge towards SummerSlam. Again, Heavy Machinery, their time will come. I think they are the correct team to take the titles off of Bryan and Rowan, but not just yet. If Heavy Machinery wins, I'm actually going to be quite shocked. I'm not necessarily going to be mad, but I will be very shocked. But I am calling Daniel Bryan and Rowan to retain the SmackDown Live Tag Team titles, in which should be a very good tag team match, and possibly one of the best matches of the night. Let's talk about Seth Rollins and Baron Corbin with the Universal Championship, where Corbin gets to pick the special guest referee. Now, a report going around suggested that WWE intentionally is waiting until the night of the event at Stomping Grounds to try and generate interest of who the special guest referee might be, and Corbin is going to choose that referee on the night of the event. Although I don't really know how much interest that would generate, especially for a Seth Rollins versus Baron Corbin match, which we've seen how many fucking times since November, number one. Number two, on top of that, combined with the fact that half of the card is composed of rematches from Stupid Showdown and lackluster feuds that pretty much have to rely on the in-ring talent rather than the storyline built over the past few weeks to sell tickets, the ticket sales aren't doing well. I supposedly heard that there's nearly 9,000 tickets left. That's what I supposedly heard. And WWE is actually giving away tickets 2 for 1 because they need to sell out this event. Most likely they won't sell out. And to be quite honest with you, I wouldn't be surprised if the attendance for the show isn't even 8,000. I wouldn't even be surprised. For all we know, there could very well be 8,000 tickets still left to be sold. For all we know. Then again, who would want to attend Stomping Grounds when WWE has put no effort, no substance, and no interest into the show? I really don't know who the special guest referee is going to be, nor do I care. I have a few ideas. I have a few ideas. The most obvious choice on everyone's mind, because, you know, Vince McMahon will think it'll generate interest. I think it's going to be Brock Lesnar. I think Brock Lesnar will be the special guest referee. Paul Heyman said, you know, he has no interest in being the special guest referee. So Brock Lesnar could be the special guest referee. But then again, I don't really think that they would fly Brock Lesnar all the way to Tacoma, fucking Washington, just to put on a referee shirt and count 1, 2, 3. I don't really think they would do that. Could be Shane McMahon, although I don't know why it would be Shane McMahon, considering the fact that Shane McMahon is already tied up in a feud with Roman Reigns, and he's got his little mini authority with Drew McIntyre and Elias. So, again, I really don't know, nor do I care. The most obvious choice would be Brock Lesnar, but like I said, I don't really think they're going to fly Brock Lesnar out to Tacoma, Washington for that bullshit. Regardless, there is no way that Seth Rollins is losing. I just can't see Seth Rollins losing. Seth Rollins cannot lose to Baron Corbin. Seth Rollins is in a position right now where he needs to hold that title until SummerSlam. Seth Rollins has earned a long reign as Universal Champion. Now, though his reign hasn't exactly been memorable, it's certainly been one of the best Universal Championship reigns out of any of the Universal Champions so far. So you got to give Rollins a little bit of credit there. Seth Rollins, where does he go from here? Well, I can definitely see him moving on to someone else at Extreme Rules. But then again, WWE has advertised the fact that Seth Rollins and Baron Corbin is to take place in a tables match at Extreme Rules in Philadelphia, in the Wells Fargo Center. And I explained this on the Lightning Flash update. I get the booking tactic where you want to book matches ahead of time to generate interest, even though the card is subject to change. But you really think that people are going to get invested and buy tickets early to a Seth Rollins versus Baron Corbin match that is going to happen for the third time within a month and a half? Doesn't even matter if you put a stipulation on it, whether it be a special guest referee, whether it be a tables match, whether it be a 2 out of 3 falls match, Viagra on a pole match. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. Seth Rollins retains the Universal Championship. I really don't see him moving on to anyone else but Drew McIntyre. And if that's the case, then that's even more of a reason why Drew McIntyre should beat Roman Reigns at Stomping Grounds. Because Drew McIntyre is the one to take the title off of Seth Rollins at SummerSlam. Finally, and then we can get out of here, because I know no one wants to fucking talk about Stomping Grounds. The WWE Championship Steel Cage match between Kofi Kingston and Mr. Should-Have-Been-Me Dolph Ziggler. I really don't see this playing out any other way than Kofi Kingston retaining. This has the potential to be a good match. Kofi Kingston and Dolph Ziggler, hopefully they are given the proper amount of time. They were only given 10 minutes at Stupid Showdown because they had to make time for Triple H and Randy Orton, and then they had to make time for that over-the-top rope battle royal. But hopefully they get the proper amount of time here. This is a steel cage match. There's no reason why this steel cage match should go under 15 minutes. You put Kofi Kingston and Dolph Ziggler in there, let them go, let them do their thing. They can put on a great match. Kofi Kingston's retaining. As far as where Kofi goes from here, I don't know. I can definitely see Dolph Ziggler leaving WWE. Again, he was gone for 6 months. I mean, doing his comedy club shtick. Why would he stick around? Why would he stick around and go off and do some other shit with WWE when he can do some shit in the comedy clubs? There's really going to be no place for Dolph Ziggler after this match and after this pay-per-view and after this program. There's going to be no place for Dolph Ziggler. So, Dolph Ziggler, he's gone. He's gone for sure after this. Back to the comedy clubs you go. As far as Kofi Kingston, well, Kofi Kingston needs a great heel to work with for SummerSlam. Randy Orton did come out victorious against Triple H. Randy Orton is starting to get some momentum back on his side. If that's the case, then Randy Orton versus Kofi Kingston for the WWE Championship at SummerSlam could possibly be the biggest matchup for the Smackdown brand in the main event scene. And the story pretty much writes itself. I mean, you had that great program with Kofi Kingston and Randy Orton back in 2009. That program was fantastic. That was actually the program where we thought Kofi was going to get catapulted to the main event scene. But apparently, Randy Orton just shut Kofi's push down like that. And now Kofi Kingston, here's Kofi Kingston again as the WWE Champion. You have Randy Orton in there, heel Randy Orton in there, going up against Kofi Kingston for the WWE Championship in the main event at SummerSlam. I'd say that it has some pretty good storytelling, and that makes for a damn good match. And that could really get Kofi back to that babyface level that he was on the road to WrestleMania. But as far as this match goes, steel cage match between Kofi Kingston and Dolph Ziggler, Kofi Kingston to retain the WWE Championship. I can only hope it's a good match. I can only hope this pay-per-view is a good match. But the WWE, they let us down more times than not with their main roster shows and pay-per-views. And ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up this edition of The Rundown. I would like to thank each and every single one of you who tuned into this video. A couple of things before we get out of here. Go and check out the Lightning Flash Updates Parts 1 and 2. The link is in the description. Go and check out the second Thunderscope live stream, which is on my Twitter account. You can follow me on Twitter at ManOfInfamy. My Twitter is Twitter account at ManOfInfamy. The second Thunderscope live stream tweet is pinned to my profile. Follow me on Instagram at TheDJStorms. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to go and like this video. We're going to try and get this video to 10 to 15 likes. I also want you to comment down below which match are you looking forward to the most and which match do you think is going to be the match of the night. Hit that subscribe button. We are over 1,200 subscribers, ladies and gentlemen. 1,200 subscribers and counting as we are on the road towards SummerSlam. We're going to see if we can get to, I don't know, maybe 1,500 by SummerSlam. I think that's a reasonable goal. Let's see what you guys can do for me there. I also want you to hit that notifications bell with a huge coup de grace. That way you will know whenever I pop up on YouTube. Because whenever I pop up on YouTube, it is the best time to be on YouTube. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm the one and only DJ Storms. And this has been The Rundown. Thunder, now you can ring that bell.